Hello, this is the Roach with Rocha, and I'm here again for another video. Um, and this is, once again, we have come to Sunday, and I kind of look forward to these Sunday specials, um, because then I get to talk about some of the best news there is out there. I didn't really get much of a topic today, though, prepared because I was at work. I was at work most of the day, so there was just no topic for me to get going. But I did think that maybe it is time to address the very basis of religious doctrine, or at least for most religious doctrine, and that is God Himself. So, for me, I grew up believing in God. My parents believed in God, and they still believe in God very strongly. And they taught me that God was there, that He loved me, and that there was no better or greater being in existence. So, um, but there comes a time in every person's life where they have to decide what they believe for themselves. They can't just trust or believe in what their parents believe in. That came fairly young for me when, um, with God. Uh, I I trusted my parents. I believed what my parents was saying, but I found that I needed answers for myself. So, and how it all came about was a Sunday school lesson. So I went to church and we sat down in Sunday school, and the teacher taught us a little bit about God and about God being the creator, and taught how God had created everything, right down to every blade of grass. And the teacher was fairly adamant about the fact that and not and no man has ever been able to create from inorganic material a single blade of grass, single blade of living grass. And I thought, wow, that's pretty big. And well, and the organic material, I don't know as if they really pushed on that much. So, because a lot of them were old school, and so they weren't necessarily the strongest scientific minds. Some, a lot of them anyway. A lot of the teachers that were in the church and teaching the classes. So I I thought about that a lot, and I went home and I prayed about it as well, and thought about it and thought about it. Well, one night while I was sleeping, I got caught up in a dream, and in this dream, I was running through the um, oh, it's kind of hard to explain. So I lived in Kodachrome Basin State Park. It is below the rim of Bryce Canyon. The sand there is red, like you find the red rock at Bryce Canyon. Well, the sand in where I grew up was red. All of the sand was red. And we had plenty of trees growing up through it, and we had grass and weeds and of all kinds, and yucca plants, all kinds of stuff. So there were plants and stuff growing in it. It is in a desert, so a cold desert like Utah is, and so there was some brush and different things that grew there, but it was kind of scattered. Um, the plants weren't necessarily all right up next to each other. They were spread out a little bit. The grass kind of grew in, but it kind of got pretty yellow throughout most of the year. We did still get snow, but it was only a little bit. And that is one thing. The contrast between red rock and white snow is absolutely one of the most beautiful things in the world. But I digress. Moved off topic a little bit. We'll get right back to it. So, my family was a running family, and we'd go out on runs out through the desert, and go on even sometimes cow trails that would weave through these rock formations that had spouted up into these valleys, um, supposedly ancient, a long, long time ago. Um, I'm not sure how long, but they spouted up through the ground anyway, or were formed throughout time. And so, anyways, the hoodoos there are hoodoos right down in the bottom of the valley there in Kodachrome that that are there. And so, anyways, we go and we'd run out through these hoodoos. We'd run out through these desert valleys, even on cow trails sometimes, and then we'd run back to the house. We do a few miles every day, or at least try to do a few miles every day. My dad was the one that was pushing us, and sometimes we'd miss days because his ambition failed him those days. And really, he had to have an awful lot of ambition because he had to get himself plus a whole bunch of kids to go run. I'm one of 8 kids, so it was a little bit of a chore sometimes to get us all out there and out running. But for me, it felt like I was on a run, and I tend to lollygag a little bit on these runs. So I'd tend to be in the back behind everybody else, and they'd all run up ahead, and then I'd just be following along the trail and basically sniffing the roses and wandering off trail here and there at times. Well, in this dream, that's what I was doing. I was running out through, and I was actually running on a cow trail that went up through a set of hoodoos or rock formations that came up out of the valley at the top of this little hill, and kind of formed like they looked like a broken wall in some ways because they were all along this one line along the ridge of this hill. And I remember what happened is I went on the cow trail, climbed up through these, and went up past these. But the terrain was a little bit different than it is in actual life, in actual reality. But what happened is I got up through there, and then I turned, and I was kind of climbing up on one of them, only it was just kind of basically gradually walking up the hill onto where it looked over where I had just come through and up. And it looked down over the top of the valley, and the sun was setting. And all this is in a dream, although it could have been, it felt as real as uh, someone actually being there, actually doing it. It, I swear, I could have felt my breath. I felt the thoughts. I remember the thoughts going through my head, my heartbeat. I remember a lot of different things and details about what was going on, and just how vivid the images were as well that were being presented to my mind. But it looked over this valley, and you could see the tops of the trees and the grass and everything down in the valley. And a voice came to my heart and my mind that was not my own, and it said, "You know I exist, and you know I have created all of this." Um, so I don't know is if it was actually God saying those things, and I know I don't deserve any such interaction with him. I know I didn't do it. I didn't deserve it then either. But my prayer was answered because I was asking, is this really true? Did God really create this? In my prayers at that time. And when I walked off of that hill, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that God does exist and that he did create the earth and everything on it. There is simply no doubt in my mind or my heart of these facts. Um, for a long time, that instance felt so real to me that for a while there, I even thought it was real. Thought that I really had been on that run, that I had really walked up there. I even at one point went back to the place where I thought it was and tried to find the place where it was. But no place like that actually existed that I actually climbed up on the hill. There was just no actual place. Like the place where the rocks were, the rock formation was, and where the hill was, and the cow trail, most of that existed. However, it didn't climb near as high as I did in my dream, nor was there the overlook spot like what I had saw in my dream. This was by far one of the most powerful spiritual moments of my life. These do not happen often, but when they do, you should treasure them. Treasure them with everything you have. I think one of the reasons that I was given this was so that I could actually share it at some point. So that this story, this experience of mine, this dream of mine, could be told, could be heard by others. And even if it is only heard by my kids at some future date, that would be enough for me. But fortune be told, I have this wonderful opportunity to be able to share it with so many other people. Sorry, I wasn't very centered for this video. I'm sure that bothered a few people. I have a little bit of OCD, so I can understand and relate to the people that have an issue with that kind of thing. And I am sorry that I wasn't centered for most of the video. I'll try to do better with my future videos and keep myself centered. So, and there is so much to God and Him being in an existing being, and Him having created the earth. And I am a fairly scientific and logical and reasonable person most of the time. I like having the logic and the reason to help understand and figure things out. There may be a little bit of something that did spur this, and it seems to be coming to my mind now. So I just started watching the We Are Here show by Elijah Schaffer and Sydney Watson. And on that, Sydney Watson talks about how she is some kind of agnostic. That's kind of the way she put it, is some kind of agnostic. She I don't even know if she really understands what it is she believes, but she doesn't believe in a deity. And so that's kind of what sparked my thoughts about why I believe so strongly in a deity. And so I thought maybe that I'd just share those thoughts and those reasons with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment down below. Maybe you've had some big experiences, and maybe all you want to comment is God is great, or God is good, or something to that effect. But I would appreciate any comments that you might want to put on the video. I do want you to be respectful and kind, just like Sydney says in hers. Comment down below, but just be respectful about it. And also, yeah, Elijah Schaffer and Sydney Watson, they are good people, and I think that they are good personalities for their show. So if you want to check out their show, that would be awesome too. I'm sure that they'd appreciate it. I'm much smaller than them, so yeah, you might even already know about them long before you ever know about me. But anyway, I will. This is the Roach with Rocia, and I will see you in the next one.